Okay, people. It is September 20th, 2016. I just want to make a comment on that divide in our community where in some parts, families, cultures, that type of thing, right? You know, they believe that the family unit should stay together and that the children of the parents should look after the parents as the parents age. And therefore, those parents don't go into these nursing homes. Where other cultures, like the Caucasians, tend to put a large majority of their elderly into these care homes once they get to a certain age. And then they take over their assets and they go visit them once in a while. All right? And certain people think that that's acceptable and the norm and should remain the norm because it props up employment. It props up the healthcare system. It props up that provincial or state budget where, you know, tax dollars are going in to keep that system alive. Okay? Now, you know, I'm obviously I'm dealing with some sort of a troll network, right? That influences my thought pattern because it's ongoing harassment, right? In terms of the stuff that they're putting out in print where it's saying that I should be in an apartment with Andre by myself, separated from my adult children. To what means I don't know, other than to isolate Andre and myself into an apartment. And then, therefore, that would be acceptable in this particular person's opinion that hides behind a fake username. Right? Hold on a minute. So in the meantime, I have my younger son just the other day. We were having a conversation. And I've been wanting to ask him for a long time, right? So I finally asked him. I said, you know, Markane, are you wanting to just go out on your own and not have the responsibility of looking after me in terms of as I'm aging? You know, you're a young man, you just want to go build your own life, right? That would be a standard norm for all families. It's just within different cultures, everybody does it different. Some people have arranged marriages. Some people just kick them out. So you're on your own. And, you know, once they hit 18 or 19 or whatever the age of consent, you know, a majority is. Some people, you know, put them in school and expect them to do all this other stuff before they can go off and get married. And just, you know, there's different variables, right? And I just asked him, right? Because I don't want to hold him back. Right? I don't want him to feel that he has to be responsible to me for the rest of my life. You know, now that he's, you know, quarter century old, right? And basically, in a nutshell, what he said to me is, I'm getting old, and that the right thing to do, and if it's acceptable for other cultures, then why do we have to fall for the old okie dokie within the Western culture to, you know, him move on and establish his own life and just kind of like, you know, leave me off into the fray and never be there really for me when I'm older and, you know, and eventually put me into some old folks home. He said, no, he didn't want to do that. That's not what he wanted. He wants us to move from this house at some point in the future somewhere else because of just the, you know, all the bad things that have happened since we've been here, right? There's, you know, quite a few bad things that have happened. You know, we had to struggle with Auntie Joan and her sickness and, you know, and then Andre and Uncle John and, you know, the city and Mr. Lace. And so anyway, I didn't videotape it, but I'm almost tempted to go back to where I see my cats, they catch rats, right? But they don't eat them, people. They don't eat the rats. They just catch them, right? And there's no precision in terms of every now and then, when living, because I've already shown video of my yard being used as some sort of an experiment for some sort of energy, whatever you want to call it. Right? Well, anyway, every now and then I think somebody comes into my yard and places parts of rats, like the head, the heart, the tail, maybe a different organ in, certain places where I'll come across it, and they know it, right? Because it's on the stairs or right by my front door. Like I just found when I went out to go with Andre to get some walnuts and stuff, right? There was a head, a tail, and some other organ that was just there that wasn't there yesterday. Well, in the meantime, Mickey's a really good ratter. She catches rats all the time, right? Or mice or whatever, even with a bell, right? And but she doesn't eat them. She just catches them, right? None of them eat them. They don't eat rats. No matter how hungry they are, they're not going to eat rats. So they've been catching because it's getting cold, right? And they're running around. I live in a bushy area, and bush over there, bush over in there, and bush down there. There's bush everywhere, right? So they have caught a couple, the cats, right? But they're in full body. They're not just a little piece of a head where the ears have been shaved off and a part of a tail, and so that tells me I should take a picture of it. I'm going to go back. I tossed them off in the field, right? Because you're not supposed to throw them in the garbage. So when you find them, dead animals, right? So I just take them and throw them into the bush or whatever, someplace where they're going to decompose. They're quite small. I'm not going to start digging holes for a bunch of rats. I just put them in places where I think nobody's really going to stumble along them, and they'll just decompose, right? And so I can actually go back and probably find the head, the tail, and that whatever it is, compared to the 3 other rats that the cats caught in the yard, right? Because it rained. When it rains, I guess they get flushed out or something, right? And they come from everywhere. They're everywhere, right? So I really should document that. Like I really should just take a picture or a small video. Hold on a minute. So, anyway, back to this, online harassment that is trying so desperately hard to discredit me. For whatever purpose. I don't even know these people. And if I do, they're being, like, in terms of, like, I don't know them, but they're somehow connected to Uncle John and, his sister and, his niece and that type of thing, right? I mean, it could very well be them posting this stuff on this website, right? KK hate website, GMOI. I mean, they're saying I want attention. I think it's more like they want attention. And they're using it by trying to discredit me and isolate me and, making threats that I should be still losing my grandson and just like and when you Google New Nations, and here's the disturbing part of it for me, when you Google New Nations Unity, they're come right up at the very top of the search engine. So that was done on purpose. That was done on purpose. It's a smear campaign. But you have to ask yourself, like, why would they want to do that? Why would they want to isolate me down into an apartment that I couldn't afford by myself under the circumstances, right? Realistically. And why would they want me to be in a position where I couldn't grow food, right? I'd be totally dependent on the food bank as a secondary source of food. Why would they want Andre to be isolated down into an apartment block where, the poverty level will be so high, right, that it's just going to be a stressful environment in the long run, because I've already been there and done that with my other kids with more resources than I would be going into, right? And my kids would go their separate ways. Why does this GMOI website want me isolated down to I don't know what, and have my kids totally dispersed? Like, why? What have I done personally to these people to deserve this type of wrath? Because that's what it is. It's a wrath. It's like a whiplashing, non-stop whiplashing, right? What are they gaining from whiplashing me and my family as they protect Uncle John's extended family by continuing to make false accusations against me online? And they cannot prove it, but, words are powerful, right? And if you Google New Nations Unity, it's going to come right up on the search engine, right? As I'm opening my front door and finding dissected rats, parts of rats, right there on my doorstep. Just like I've gone in the back and opened up my door and found dissected parts of rats on my back stairs. Right? And it's not the cats eating them. Because if the cats were eating them, every rat that they would catch, they would eat. And they're not eating them because they don't like eating rats. A mouse maybe, but not a rat. Birds, probably, but not a rat. Raccoons maybe, right? But raccoons aren't going to leave 3 little pieces behind. They're going to take everything. Right? So, I guess it just goes par and parcel with, just something wrong. There's something like, there's just something wrong. I don't know, like in terms of the level of jealousy. I mean, some of it must be spewed or spread around because of jealousy. For some people it's control, right? So I think from now on, now that I've mentioned it, and I really should go and see if I can show those pieces to verify what I'm saying is truth and document it. And from this point forward, because whoever's doing it is watching my videos, I personally have a couple of ideas of who it might be, because it's been going on and on for quite a while, right? I've been here 7 years, people. That's a long time to be in one house. And like I said, the gang stalking started long before this conversation today, okay? It's just you can't prove it because you'd have to have a camera up 24/7, someone monitoring your backyard, right? Which is impossible, You think you live in a civil society, you think that everybody walking around is normal and, has their sense about them, and, these are things you think, right? That's what you're conditioned to think before you walk out the door. That's why we don't fight with each other. But as soon as the economics begin to change, right, and the food stores start to dry up and all that stuff where people can't afford to buy food, I guess this is what you get, right? So anyway, there's this meeting tonight at 6:30. This Acorn, the group Acorn, but they're not affiliated with the Acorn group in the United States, because the Acorn group in the United States apparently fell apart. So this is just an offshoot. So I've been invited to go. I have to walk. I'm not sure if I want to go yet because I have to go outside and tidy up and do some work here. But I just wanted to point that out. Andre and I actually got really lucky today. Like, I don't know, we were totally amazed. We were totally amazed. Look at all those black walnuts. We haven't counted them yet, but there's like so many of them.
One.
Well, I don't even know if this camera's working. Where's Jude?
He left.
What do you mean he left?
He had to go pick Blake off.
Oh, his mom came and got him?
Yeah.
Okay.
But he said she will bring him back.
Oh.
Okay?
Yeah, well, hold on. I don't know if this camera's
One.
working. Just wait a minute. Let me see. Hold on.
Is it working?
I don't know. I think it
One.
is.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Hold
7.
on.
8.
Okay, that's all I can find right now. Do you see that, people? There was a tail and some of the gut. I don't know what it was. But there's the other three. Do you see? There's these ones are whole, right? Where is it? Can't see. See? There's another one in there. I threw the three of them in there, covered them up, right? They'll rot. But look at this. You tell me, why on my front doorstep with a tail and something else? I can't find it. It's in there, right?
What is that? Stop.
So anyway, this this thing tonight, this meeting or whatever, they're gonna talk about trying to bring an insight into Surrey, and they need to, because I'm telling you, people, in the last 2 days, because I was outside with the pond 2 days ago, right? So in the last 3 days, this is their third needle in the last 3 days. Okay, so you seen that, right? That's too uniform, people, for it to be a cat, right? And like I said, it's not the first time, right? In a period of 7 years. I think I've mentioned it before, but I never really, I try not to. Again, you have to ask yourself what kind of society you live in when in 3 days you find 3 rigs. 2 on the road, one on the road over there that had apparently been there for a while, but nobody picked it up. And then 1 over there on the road, so it's 2 on the road, just across the street, over there. Kids seen it. Over here when we went to go get Andre's little friend, like I said, apparently it sat there for a couple of days. Nobody picked it up because the little boy mentioned that to me. It had been there before, right? So that's 2. And now just found another one, right? And obviously that's not the first time. So you got the homeless people doing it. I think some of these things are, I think there's people in housing that does it, right? And it ends up in the garbage cans, and then when the garbage cans tip over, they don't necessarily get thrown out, right, properly, so that's how they end up on the road, right? I mean, obviously over in there is probably some homeless person, right? Well, somebody in the neighborhood is running around, what do you call it? Mutilating rats. Personally, I thought there was a cat killer out here at one point. So many cats were going missing all the time. Right? Well, you got that hate website, trying to just take advantage of, the vulnerabilities that this family is experiencing at the hands of, corrupt healthcare systems and that type of stuff, right? And because I speak out about it, they seem to think that they can, not be helpful. That's for sure. Not be helpful at all, right? So anyway, I guess that's it for now. We'll see. Maybe I'll go to that meeting tonight. It's important, right?